the garden's important to maintain? I mean, one reason, well, especially with the landscape, is that this has been a 45+ year effort of landscape restoration. So a lot's been done over the years. A lot of trees have been planted, and shrubs and gardens have been created, and you know, just upholding that and continuing building on that work.
The importance of the landscape of Old Salem is for the viewing of the residents that live here. One of the reasons that we try to keep them mowed and looking good, we do have some properties like the orchard here that we let grow a little bit to depict what an orchard would have looked like back in the 1800s. We do several fields like that, but at the same time we'll come through and mow them down for rodents and snakes and stuff.
Seeds with Stories is really an effort just to tell the stories of the seeds and the varieties of plants that we grow in the gardens and the plants that are in the landscapes. There's a lot of different ways. When we are open, we can use the seed lab as one avenue to tell that, but then also in the gardens. With the gardens, you know, just the old heirloom varieties that are regionally adapted to the South and to our climate, just the food history, and just it really is all tied in with the histories of the people, the crops of the indigenous peoples that were here in America. There's the crops from Europe, crops that came over from Africa and from all over, and we're kind of mixing, you know, in a part of the melting pot that's America. I think all the plant collection, just the vegetables, herbs, grains, flowers, all of it, just sort of encapsulate that, and you know, you can taste some of the history, you know, with some of the old flavors of these old varieties.
The vegetables that is grown in here in Salem depict that time period, and for me, they are good. They ate good back then, I can say.
The landscape as well, with the trees and the shrubs, like most of the landscape restoration is focused on native trees and shrubs that were here, and really the legacy of those plants really predates Salem and Europeans even coming to America. All the old oaks and walnuts, and you know, there's hundreds of different species of plants. Just to have an urban collection of those plants here is pretty significant.
Salem Pathways is a project that we're working on along with you, Miss Samantha, and it's going to be a great experience for our visitors when they come, being that they can't go in the buildings. So it'll just give them another look at Old Salem, the more of the landscape of Old Salem. And we're going to try to have these pathways to where they can go from one area right into another one, like in our orchard here. They can come here, and some will probably pick an apple or two and, and try that, and then they can go over and look at vegetables that we have growing. To see the difference in what we're eating now versus what they ate back then. And also with these pathways, it'll give them a chance to get out here and maybe identify some of the plants and shrubberies and the trees that we have. If I'm not mistaken, Old Salem, I know at one time, housed one of the oldest trees in the Southeast, I believe. So,
yeah, the elm tree behind the gun shop is one of the oldest elms.
That
probably at least in Forsyth County, yeah. The seed saving that we do, which is sort of a necessary part of just sort of maintaining these old varieties, we end up with an abundance of seeds, so we end up sharing that seed with a lot of community gardeners and out at our seed swap. And since these are locally, regionally adapted genetics for here, there is sort of a social justice advantage to like sharing adapted vegetable varieties with community gardens and just local gardeners in general.
Now during this pandemic, we're actually giving the vegetables away to the local food bank.
So we had a bunch of carrots and beets, we've got potatoes, we've harvested a lot of cucumbers, squash. Tomatoes are starting to come in now. We'll have peppers coming in soon and okra coming in soon. And then we have some winter squash and some watermelons planted down in some of the other family gardens.
How many people are on the team that does the growing and harvesting?
There's Ellen McCullough, Justin Sizemore, Anthony Magnolo, and Lauren Barnhill, and then myself, and then with assists from Bernard and Thomas Gordon and Keith Todd. We're harvesting, since the pandemic hit, we sort of pivoted the use of the gardens to growing food that we were going to take to local food banks, and we've been doing that, harvesting about 250 pounds on average a week, and taking them through second harvest to Hope of Winston-Salem, where there's distributed to folks with families. So we've probably donated about 1,500 pounds of produce so far this year, and on track probably to do at least that much more.
The landscape of Old Salem can serve in a lot of different ways. I'm an outdoors person, so I love it here. I love it. I love being able to have a tree I can go sit under from time to time, seeing different people walk through, visit, and for me, it's one of the most peacefulest places I've ever been. And I love it. I just love it.